What up, what up, what up? This Ibn Web Quran, the Sum here, official thanks thing we got going on here. This guest I have coming on here, this is why I originally started doing this and wanting to do this here. It was intended for family. This is family, not blood though, but it's still family here. Uh, Met him, fourth, fifth grade here. His son and I, we've been running together ever since here. To reach out to Mr. Lesure, and he just said, not a problem, just to come on and talk. He probably like, what the hell Ibn got going on here? But I'll do it because it's Ibn. So I'm sure that's what he was thinking here. So without any further ado, I'm gonna get Mr. Lesure on, and we just gonna talk. Might find a thing or two I ain't know about him, but I'm very, very, very much so looking forward to this. Hold on. Hey, there we go.
Okay.
We're in business here. Look at all this technology stuff, huh?
Yeah, mashallah.
How are you?
Alhamdulillah.
Good, good, good.
Allah's merciful. How about yourself?
I'm good. Thank you. Thank you. You
Mashallah.
don't know how excited I am to have this opportunity here. I've been giddy like a little kid all day here, just looking forward to this.
Mashallah. Jazakallah khairan for having me on.
Yes, yes, yes. Like when we spoke, like I said, the premise of this again, just hear a little bit about your journey here, of what all you willing to share, not share, which is totally cool with me here. But it's one of these things I've been afforded the opportunity just to talk to people such as yourself, actually, that had family members and other folks on as well too. It's just something like with all this stuff going on, this pandemic and everything else. I was like, let me do something that's totally not my personality here. I don't even like talking as much. So, but I just like, I'm gonna just do something different here.
Well, look like you're doing a good job. You look like you're what's that? You look like you wanted to host on the Breakfast Club.
Oh, you do your Breakfast Club thing. Okay.
I do it every now and then. I mean, I'm not I stumble on it because a lot of times I'm up early in the morning, and a lot of times, in between doing what I'm gonna do and after Salah, yes. Sometimes I've frequently had the opportunity to see some guests that they had.
Okay.
And I guess one thing that started me that they had this young brother who was an artist, a rapper. I can't even think of his name at the time. And they told about his transition from being on the stage of entertainment to trying to spread the deen.
Okay.
And his journey was really good. And I wish I can call his name, the artist's name, but they had him on. He was on the Breakfast Club, and some of the members that were involved with him at that time, they commented about him, and he, to make a long story short, he ended up getting locked up, and the lockup was centered around charges that they had, and they were false charges, and I think he did about 7 or 8 years in jail, man, and but mashallah, he came into Islam while he was in jail.
Okay.
And that put him in a tailspin after he came out, and alhamdulillah, I mean he learned the Arabia and got on the Sunnah, man, and he's been flourishing ever since in terms of spreading the deen, and his notoriety is him being known all over. People wanted to know what transformed him. So, he became a national figure in terms of overnight, and still had the same popularity. Matter of fact, there's an increase. So, and he speaks Arabic fluently, and he learned a lot in prison, man, from the deen. So Allah can put you wherever he want to put you at the time that he put you there, just like Musa.
Yes.
Just like Musa. He raised him in the house of Pharaoh, and he's the most, when you read Quran, he's the most talked about Nabi in the Quran that you read his story after Yusuf, he and Yusuf, but Musa being the most.
Yes.
And so alhamdulillah, man. So alhamdulillah, I'm grateful to be a part of this, inshallah.
No, I appreciate it. I appreciate it. Oh, with that said, I know you down in Florida here. Is that where this life for you is all started at? Was it Florida? As far as
Well,
being when you
actually,
were
see,
raised?
I'm raised in Pensacola.
Okay.
I'm where I grew up at, high school, elementary school, and I was raised here, and I left here, and I went off to school. Fortunate enough to play a little basketball, so
Mm-hmm.
Allah blessed me with, somebody had seen me, and they offered me a couple of scholarships. So Allah blessed me to end up in North Carolina playing basketball, and I played there for. I only played a year,
Mm-hmm.
and I decided that I wasn't going to do it anymore. I mean, I was fortunate enough to be on the team with Earl, who was very popular
Mm-hmm.
at that time. They won the NIT, so I had I had success from being around people who were successful.
Yes.
So, but and then I finished school in Winston-Salem, and I ended up in New York, and I stayed in New York for a while, and then I ended up in New Jersey, where I was blessed to come in contact with your parents and you, and through my son Farouk, y'all became friends, and that's how I know you.
Right.
So,
Right.
alhamdulillah.
Yes. Yes. I will take a step back here. As far as growing up, now you're only child, correct?
Well, I wasn't the only child. I'm only, my brother passed. He was like 17. He was like 7 years older than myself.
Okay.
But he passed, and it left me being the only child then.
Mm-hmm. Mm. And even with that, how was your childhood? I mean, was it a normal childhood? Like, I mean, everybody says it's normal. Everybody's definition of normal is a little different here.
Well, in my opinion, for this neck of the woods, I would say it was normal. I mean, we came from a impoverished situation in reference to my parents' struggle,
Mm-hmm.
and alhamdulillah, they were very good parents to me, and alhamdulillah, they gave good examples.
Mm.
Uh, I, I came up in the typical, uh, I would say, the typical family, childhood where my mother they were churchgoers.
Okay.
My mother was a churchgoer. My father wasn't so much churchgoer at the early stages of his life, and but Dad had worked real hard and did the necessary thing he had to do. We lived under the rule of segregation at this time. Things weren't integrated,
Yeah.
and you know, alhamdulillah, we did like most of the Americans who were African Americans who lived in America, getting through the thing of discrimination and living in an area where there were white fountains and
Yes.
you couldn't eat here and you couldn't eat there.
Mm-hmm.
That existed throughout my childhood. I went to a segregated school, and well, there was a black high school and a white high school, and and a Catholic high school. Catholics were always there too,
Mm-hmm.
and those were the choices I had in terms of going to school, education. So, and most of the time in our educational system, we usually got the books after they finished with them, and
Yeah, I know.
that exists during then. A lot of people don't want to say that, but it's true. And I came up under where all my teachers were African American,
Mm-hmm.
and I was fortunate enough to run into a lot of good people during the system. That there were some who were not didn't cater towards helping people who were in a impoverished situation, but there were some. Allah blessed me with to know some people who had my best interests at heart, and they encouraged me and helped me, and Allah blessed me to struggle and finally get a chance to go off to college, and it's somewhat, I won't say it necessarily changed my outlook on life, but it enlightened me to some of the traps that were set out there. Yes. That sometimes people make you believe if you become educated that you're going to change things. And it allowed me to realize that if you don't love yourself, nobody else will love you. And it made me appreciate my parents even more, because when I look at the struggles that they went through and what they had to deal with, just for me to have the opportunity to go to school, it helped me to realize the importance of me going to school and going off to college and making an effort to finish. Yes. Because that wasn't my first motive. I went to school because my mother and father, they demanded that I go, and I didn't want to go to school because you know all I wanted to do was have a good time and have a ball, man, enjoy myself. So, but through their efforts and the sacrifices that they made, Allah gave me the ear to listen to them, and I was fortunate enough to hang in there and weather some bad storms that will probably have taken me out of the loop. And Allah allowed me to, you know, graduate and finish college, and you know, and along the way I became aware of Islam, and I accepted Islam, and the rest is history. You know, I mean, after I accepted Islam, I've been rolling ever since, and changed my whole life around. You know, because school education didn't do it for me.
Okay.
I went in to be educated and left out just as dumb as I was before I went in. You know, it's just that going along the way, the life lessons, and with the guidance of my parents, listening to them. And that's the reason why I tell Farouk all the time, and that's my son and your friend. And I used to tell him and anybody in his peer, I say, you know, sometimes, you know, I used to tell him what the difference was between myself and him. I said, my father and mother can tell me something and I listen to it. And I don't always do what they say do, but I at least listen. I don't have to fall in the hole and know I will fall in the hole because my dad and mama already told me that I'm gonna fall in that hole. So by me listening to them and honoring and respecting what they did, because they were the people at that time who were feeding me. Allah allowed me to get through some bad points and caused me to live another day to see and accept change. So and I'm grateful and thankful to Allah that happened to me, because I wouldn't be sitting here talking to you now. I would probably be Allah will have called me back like my best friend. And my best friend OD'd, man, and I got a lot of other friends who OD'd along with him. And he OD'd at an early age, you know, because I won't say he didn't listen to the guidance of his mother and father. I would say that they didn't have the influence on him as mine had on me. Okay. Because your parents have to influence you. Yes. You know, you can listen, but not be influenced. Because the influential thing that causes you to change, not just someone telling you this, and then you listen to them and you really hear them, but you don't respond to them because they didn't have that type of influence on you to cause you to make changes and adjust your lifestyle so that you can benefit from it. So it's Allah who gives you that ear, man. You know, absolutely. And I'm thankful to Allah for that. Yes, yes.
What did you go to school for? Well, college. What did you?
Well, I went to school. I was primarily in education.
Okay.
I have a BA in education, and Allah allowed me to teach, and I taught for I was in the educational system for like 38 years. That's where I retired from.
Mm-hmm.
But prior to me, while going in education, I was encouraged to get involved with drugs and alcohol as an educator.
Mm-hmm.
So I eventually went back and I went back and I'm certified as a substance awareness coordinator. It was called that time. But in New Jersey, that particular title changed. It became student assistant counselor, student assistant coordinator. But to make a long story short, I coordinated a drug and alcohol program for about 18 years for the Newark School District in New Jersey.
Mm-hmm.
And I taught the whole time. I never left teaching because I taught an alternative education for about another 18, well, not 18, actually about 14 years. Because I even though I was a teacher, I've taught on 3 different levels. I hold 3 different certifications. I was certified in elementary education, K through 8. I was certified in intermediate education, and I was certified as a math teacher, high school. And so my last teaching job, I taught math in both 2 different districts, Irvington High School in New Jersey, Irvington, New Jersey, in an alternative program. And I also taught in the Newark Public Schools, Central High School.
Right. Yeah.
You know, so I taught in two different districts, and I taught at the same time. So and at the same time, as I said before, Allah blessed me, man, because I ran a after school program for about 14 years, along with doing the other things, and that ran from I ran that from 6 to 9, and I started a school to work program for students working in a hospital. I rotated them. I set up a program where the kids would leave school and come to work at a local hospital. And these kids were trained in different areas like the pharmacy, X-ray technician, lab, custodial, many of the activities, housekeeping, culinary, and these students were working there for 3 hours after school, and they would get a stipend paid by the city of Newark, and they had a partnership program between that and the hospital, and I developed and ran that particular program, and I did that for about 3 years.
Yeah.
And it was called School to Work. And from that, to show you, there are 3 of the people that became known, and they were the 3 doctors from Newark that were recognized. They came through that program, and they were actually counselors at that particular program, and they were under my supervision, and that's how they came to that program. They came under Seton Hall. They were students at Seton Hall.
Right.
And we got them from Seton Hall, and they act as counselors, and that's Ramik, and that's one of them. One of their names. It was the 3 brothers.
The 3 brothers.
Sam was another one, and wow, I can't think of the third one. But you know, they are highly sought after physician in Newark right now. Who came through that program.
Now I'm very familiar with them, and then even getting all the way up to Newark. How a Southern guy such as yourself end up in New York? What was that brought you up north there?
Well, it's just like anything else. You go where the work is.
Okay.
And when I left school, I was hired by it's a place called Hillcrest Center for Children. These children were taken out of the state of New York. They were neglected and dependent, and they were put in a home. And this home served as their home. And the group of kids, they were brought out of the city up to upstate New York in a place called Bedford Hills. And I worked as a counselor there. Actually, that was my first real job. Not real job, but first professional job that I had. I worked as a counselor for 3 years, and that was back in 1970, 71, 72. And I worked as a counselor there. And while working as a counselor there, I saw what was happening with this. I decided that I wanted to teach. So I applied for a job in Newark. The rest is history, man. I took a teaching job in Newark. I think that was in 1973, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
I took a teaching job in Newark, and I remained in Newark for the rest of my professional career as an employee, someone who worked for someone, until I retired in 2010, and I've been retired ever since. I never did any work. I promised myself once I retire, I was never gonna work again, and that's what has happened. My job now is taking care of my mother.
Yes.
Mashallah.
That's what retirement means. Yeah, I mean,
yeah,
you're done.
Mashallah.
Now I know. Interested enough. I mean, you being who you are, I'm sure it probably wasn't too hard of a task, but just the slower pace of the South and just being in New York and everything else. Did you pick up on just how to navigate that world? I mean, did it come easy to you?
Well, first of all, I've only been here for 3 years. And I came here solely because my father passed. And this is home property here.
Yes.
And what happened was when my father passed, he passed on, Allah called him back on March 17 and at 2019. And I flew in here on that day. He passed about 1 o'clock in the morning, 1:30, and I got a call and they told me, and I flew out of Newark airport around, I got me a flight around 9:30, 10 o'clock that same day on March 17th. And I got in here around 4 o'clock. And I've never been back to New Jersey since then.
Yeah.
But nothing. And fortunate enough, I have your friend who's my son, Farouk, and Tahira and Baraka, Baraka, my other son, and my daughter. Fortunate enough, well, they just like you, and we still able to maintain our property. And I have a good wife who came here with me, and she goes back and forth. So it allows me to be here and still live in New Jersey. It's just that I haven't been in New Jersey. But I still consider myself living in New Jersey because I have cars there, the house is there, and my grandkids are there. But I have to be here taking care of my mother. And fortunate enough that Allah put me in a position financially that it allows me to be able to make the transition and keep both places going.
Yes.
Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah. Yes.
So I don't think it's a transition. I mean, I think it's I think it's something that comes as natural as you doing this particular interview. Okay. I think you just be yourself.
Right.
I'm sure you already have a line of questions that you want to question. And
this was easy. This one I ain't write anything down. Not for this one. I ain't writing not one thing down.
Yeah, well, I pray Allah that it goes well. I just try to answer your question and go with the flow. Let it take me wherever it takes me. I don't know where this is going to take me. Matter of fact, my wife told me, so you should put on a shirt. You should put on a better shirt because you don't know where this might be seen.
Nah, we good. You look good. We good. We relaxing.
Yeah,
We good.
what I didn't look good before, she didn't like the way I was looking. So I had to kind of spruce up a little bit,
Okay.
you know, so I can, you know, I'll at least you won't have to be embarrassed about me getting on the scene looking a certain
Nah,
kind of
we
way.
good. You see, I'm here a t-shirt, baseball cap. We good. We
Yeah,
good.
yeah, mashallah,
Yeah. Yeah.
mashallah.
Nice little segue though, in regards to you mentioned your children, what have you. What has fatherhood? What has that meant to you?
Well, uh, alhamdulillah, it's a role that Allah gives you that allows you to extend yourself to the point where you become the custodian of what Allah has sent. And it's a difficult task sometimes because sometimes you have to put aside your selfishness in order to do what's best so that Allah will be pleased for you, because you can't do what you want to do. Because sometimes what I want to do is not what Allah wants me to do.
Yes.
And navigating myself through that particular rocky terrain during certain occasions has become a challenge to me, even as Farouk and you are like in the 48 years, and Tahira is like 50 and Barack is 51. People that you grew up with. I just got off the phone with Tahira. I'm still navigating, trying to piece out what I should say so I don't offend, so I don't hurt, and so I do what Allah say I should do. Because sometimes I just want to say some other things that I shouldn't even say on your on this video about them.
It's a delicate balance.
Dealing with them.
It's a delicate balance.
With frustrations, because sometimes, as I told Tahira, you just don't listen. If you listen, sometimes it would change the whole outlook of things. And like I started off saying before, I tell Farouk and I tell Barack and them, I said, so one thing that's different from me and you. And he said, no, but you're not, that's not true, Daddy. And I pray Allah that it's not. I said, many things that you're told you don't listen to. Instead of you listening to it, you go and do you, and then it comes back to me and I have to clean it up. I said, if you would listen, that wouldn't have to happen. And I'm not saying that I listened to everything that my father said, but I was a little different from you. If Daddy came and told me to do it, I stopped what I did and I did what he said do. I didn't wait and see what happened when he had to come. He didn't have to come and pick me up. Mama didn't have to come and pick me up. My mama once told me when I first left home, and I'm gonna share this with you. She told me, said, look, son, I had never been away because they never let me go away. They never let me go nowhere. They never let me go and spend a summer with granddaddy. I couldn't do that. Okay. The most I've ever stayed anywhere was like 3 or 4 days to a week, and they were coming before the week was over. They didn't let me go. And that's the same way I was with Barack and them. They never stayed, no, they don't go spend no night with nobody. Right. They stay at home. And I used to ask Daddy, I said, Daddy, why you did? He said, because they don't know you like I know you. Yeah. And he said, you might get into something with somebody else that I might not be able to get you out. But when you here, I know what you're going to do. That's what he said. And I share that with you. My mother told me once, she said this. She said, listen, whenever you travel, I was going somewhere. I was going off to school. She said, if you got $100 and you spend 50 of them on your travel, if you're on vacation and you spend $50, so when you get down to $50, you start headed back home. When you get half, if that was your budget. She said, because if it took you $50 to get to that point, it might take you the other 50 to get back home. I always remember that. So if I go on vacation, and let's say you got $5,000, you allotted that in your account or whatever to spend. Once I spend down to 2,500, I'm going home then. I ain't gonna go no lower than that.
Mm-hmm.
Once my budget, if I hit my budget mark halfway,
Yes.
I gotta come. I always remember that when I go anywhere, when I do anything, when I travel anything, when I go on vacation, when I do, I remember that.
Mm-hmm.
I always remember that. My mama told me that, and I never forget it. And I was like maybe 18 or 19 when she told me that,
Mm-hmm.
and I always remember that. And there are so many things that my parents have taught me and told me that I remember, that I utilize, and I try to pass it on. You know, my one thing my daddy told me, he said, listen, any kind of land you own that you buy, don't sell it. Because if you sell, other people just want to take it away from you. He said, a land is worth more than the money that they're going to give you.
Yeah.
I remember that. And right here in Pensacola, I see people in properties that where I used to live, around the waterfront. That's where I grew up. I grew up around water all my life.
Okay.
Daddy had a house there. These people, these parents suffered, and they maybe only paid maybe $6,000 or $7,000 for the house. But they struggled to get it because they didn't have the $6,000 or $7,000. And they got these houses and they struggled. And these houses down in that area now,
I can only imagine.
let me tell you,
Yeah.
people come and offer them $20,000 for it. They take the money. They take the money. And the people come and put up another structure and sell it for $200,000.
Mm-hmm.
Only gave them $20,000 for it.
Mm-hmm.
And their parents' blood, sweat, and tears went into getting that property. But they moved away. They moved to Baltimore, to New Jersey, and other places. And they just look at it as an opportunity. I can get $20,000. Now you can't buy a car for $20,000.
Yeah.
And they give up their mother and father blood and sweat, struggle, all kinds of problems, and they walk away with the property. And then people come and make $200,000 off of it. And they sold it for $6,000. That's an economic situation.
Yes.
But my father told me, my father knew about, to show you, with a third grade education, he knew about economics. He knew about the power. Some of us, we got doctor's degree and don't know about economics.
That's right.
Don't know how the money works.
That's right.
My father knew how the money works. Third grade education. My mama actually is an accountant. She's an accountant, man.
Mm-hmm.
Never third grade, fourth grade. I don't know nobody in the world can handle money better than my mama. Mm-hmm. It's evidence because she got us through all kinds of stuff. In spite of my daddy's foolishness, wasting money, drinking, or other things, we on half the block. But that was mama. That wasn't daddy. Mm-hmm. Mama made the money. I mean, daddy made the money, but mama knew how to handle it and spend it.
Do with it, yes.
That's right. Because you can make the money and not know what to do with it. Mm-hmm. Mama is an accountant. And to this day, the one thing, by Allah's permission, and I tell Farouk this all the time, one thing I don't ever worry about is money. Never worry about money, man. Mm-hmm. Never. To this day, I don't worry about money, man. Because my mama taught me how to handle it, and I know how to use it.
Yes.
So alhamdulillah for that, you know? So
most definitely.
Yeah, I'm grateful, man. I'm grateful. It's not like you don't have to have money to be rich. You could have money and not be wealthy. Mm-hmm. Money is the thing that doesn't make you wealthy. People think that it does, but it doesn't make you wealthy. Mm-hmm. Wealth comes from understanding and the beautification of Allah that allows you to know how to become the human being that He desires you to be. That's what makes you wealthy. Mm-hmm. That's what gives you that particular thing to make you valuable.
Yes.
If you don't have no value, you have no wealth, because wealth deals with value, man. Wealth don't deal with monetary things. It's the value that you have that makes you wealthy. It's the value that you have to your community, the value you have to your family, the value you have to humanity that makes you wealthy, not the amount of money that you have. Because I know plenty of people got plenty of money, but they're not wealthy. They have no value. They have no value, man.
Right. Yeah. Absolutely.
So, alhamdulillah, Allah is merciful.
Yes.
You know.
And interesting, as far as you make the connection to money here, and your career pretty much spent, in the education sector here. Like, is none of this stuff is taught in schools, or I mean, if it's frowned upon, if somebody's really I would say depending on, what school district you're in, but like this stuff is not taught to us. I'll just say particularly us Blacks growing up or what have you. And you mentioned earlier, you talked about, books that you got as a kid, pretty much they're given and used down because everybody else is finished with them. But even those books probably didn't have all the facts and everything in there. Like, so I say all that to say is like, the education system in there, did you ever just become frustrated with the material you had to, teach your students?
No,
Okay.
I didn't become frustrated because, like the book, it's like a syllabus. The book isn't the thing that educates. It's basically material.
Okay.
I don't care what kind of sneakers Curry is wearing. It don't put that thing in the basket like he can shoot it.
Right.
The sneakers, the gear don't matter, man. He can have any kind of gear and he can still shoot that shot and out there and make it. It don't matter. So what's the guy's name who plays for New Orleans? Zion, right?
Zion, right.
They just finished talking about the contract that he's going to get. And whether or not they should pay him that money because, he's been out, injured.
Injured, yes.
So Stephen A was saying that, he was debating on whether or not he was worth that kind of money to give it. And I listened to him debate it because, when he came out of North Carolina, right? I mean, he was a sought after person. And they tell me if they think the others are bad, they tell me he's sure enough a bad man. That's what they're saying. Even though I haven't had the opportunity to see him play only on a collegiate level, I didn't see him actually. We don't get a lot of the games from, them. So, and plus he's been out. But, yes. but my point is the value of a person, you can't predicate it to the amount of money that he gets. The value has to be predicated from his worth to the team, whether or not he makes the team can win. Like in spite of what the player for Dallas, as good as he is, they were saying like how Barkley was saying how as good as he is, he hurt the team because he handles the balls too much.
Okay.
So the other players can't get involved.
They just watching him. Yeah.
They're just watching him, which makes the team lose. And what I'm saying to you is when you look at books has its place. But what's more important is the fact that someone is in a position to be able to articulate the essence of what's in the book, to get the students to realize the value of what they're telling them so they can benefit from it. So no matter what book you have, that won't transcend transcend into a productive student unless you have the correct teacher that is able there to motivate and take that information and impregnate the student's mind to the point where it's beneficial to them. Your best teachers are those, the best teachers are those who can motivate the student to the point where they become better than the teacher. Then the teacher has done its job.
Now, was that your style?
I'm sorry?
Was that your teaching style?
You said, you said if that's what my teachers did?
No, was that your teaching style? Is that how you taught?
Well, that's what I felt.
Okay.
I felt that the people, the many people that influenced me as teachers, they were able to motivate me to the point to understand that if they impart this information, that I can take this information, use it and benefit myself and others, and take it to another level to the point where it benefit other people. I think that that's very important in teaching. If you're not doing that, then I feel like it's like a singer. A singer sings a song, man. There are great artists that I used to love. I used to love to listen to Tracy Chapman. Okay. You know, Nina Simone. You understand? Even Otis Redding. What's the? I'm trying to think of my man name. He impact the whole America. What's his name? His father killed him.
Marvin Gaye.
Marvin Gaye. You know, when you listen to Marvin Gaye, man, and you listen to what he says, you feel it, man. You can't. If his song came on right now, the only way for me not to respond is to turn it off. You see, because when he talked about what's going on, talking about America, what's going on, that impact the whole America, man. Yes. And that came from him. Nobody else did a song like that but him. Nobody else did a song like that but him, man. And look how long he's been gone. Yeah. But if you play that song today, right now, it affects people and what they feel right now.
It's totally relevant.
Ask that question right now. Look at the latest shooting in Texas. And guess what? It just don't relate to African Americans. It relates to what's happening in society, what's going on. What's going on that you get a 18-year-old going by an assault weapon, too, and they sell it to him. And then he don't go to a high school, he go to an elementary school and kill 19 people, man. Yeah. And what's going on with the political society that don't recognize that there's a sickness in this country that they need to change? That's what Marvin Gaye is talking about. Yeah. Talking about people coming back from Vietnam, the war. You know? I mean, if you just listen to the words and what he says in the song, he's, you know, and then what's the other one? Wake up. Yeah. Come on, man. Sleep.
Stop sleeping in bed. That's right. Stop sleeping in bed.
Teaching motivates that, man.
Yes.
You know, I mean, a teacher can take a kid. I've known children who didn't even feel that they could learn. You have to go into it and you have to teach the kid. You have to actually, my students that I have come in contact with, I learned more from them then I think that they learn from me. I learned from them, man.
Mm-hmm.
I became a better person by working with students than I was before they entered my classroom. I can pick out students in my class that taught me so much about myself by interacting with them, trying to teach them, man.
Especially
and
I'm
supposed to be the smart one, but actually they were smarter.
Yes.
They were smarter than I was. But I wouldn't learn that if I didn't take the time to pay attention and take the time and listen at the lessons that they were teaching me by trying to help them.
Yes.
It helped myself.
I could totally see that, because you think about it, you mentioned Irvington, you mentioned North. Think about everything they had to go through just to get to your class.
Just to get to class, man.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, I used to have a student, I never forget, man. I used to have a student, I used to say, why don't you come to school? Why is it that you don't? They said, Mr. Lesure said, oh, why don't you have your homework? And when they told me that story, man, I stopped asking them for it. I just started asking. I said, listen, were you able to do that last night? They said, no. I said, well, come on, let me show you. Come. I stopped trying to beat up on them when I found out what they had to do. I'm not saying that that's every student's case.
Right.
But still, I tried to make them responsible for what I asked them to do. I didn't give them a pass on it. I tried to help them, tell them how they have to do it. Instead of doing this here, you got to do this before you do that. And then that'll take care of that. You know, students who come to school late, I used to have young ladies who come to school late. They couldn't come to school until they carried their little sister, brother to that spot first. Then they had to get to school. They had to do that. So if I'm stopping them from coming in my class late and denying them because of the circumstances that they didn't have, now what I should do after I find out what's happening, I should go to the guidance department, make the guidance department do their job. The guidance get with the social worker, make the social worker do her job. Let's provide some services for this young lady so she won't have to do that. Then maybe she can get to school. That's what this whole thing is about. It's providing, the school should be a melting pot in order to help young people grow and develop. And they pay enough people in the school system to do it, man. I mean, the social workers, the guys, we make good salaries, man.
Yes.
But we make every excuse because of bureaucracy, because of paperwork, because of, I had guidance counselors. I had students in high school that didn't even know who their guidance counselors were. How can you not know who your guidance counselor is? I knew who mine was when I was in high school.
Yeah, being present, being visible. Yeah.
Your guidance counselor you don't even know who your guidance counselor is. How can you have a student in high school that's a junior or senior and they never had a conference with their guidance counselor? They don't even know who the guidance counselor is. And the guidance counselor's got a list of names. They don't even make a point to make an appointment to see them. That's happening in the school district, man.
Yeah.
Right now. And that's sad. Don't even mention the social worker. Then you got child psychologists in the school system that they pay these people. They pay these people to come in there and sit around and drink coffee and tea all day while the kid is committing suicide and they're not taking the time to find out what's happening with them to causing them to feel that way right now. And they get big salary. You got them on, in Newark, you have them on, well, if you're a psychologist, you definitely are paid on either a master or PhD level.
Yes.
You got a different scale. And they make more than the teachers. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
Their salary is more than the teacher's salary. And you paying these people that kind of money, and they're sitting down there in their office while the kids are committing suicide, and having all kinds of problems, and nobody is taking the time to get the student in. The teachers don't report it. The teachers don't even know it's a problem. All they do is jump on the teacher's trifling and that. They don't even take the time to find out if they need to send this kid to there. That's teaching, man. That's what teaching is. Mm-hmm. Most of your teaching is done in the lunchroom, on the playground.
Yeah, in the hallways, yeah.
In the hallway. That's where you learn that. That's where you, and the kids, I'm gonna tell you something. True story. The truth. Kids never cuss me out, man. If a kid is saying something mean to me, the students at Central High School, they might whoop him out of school. Mm. They're not gonna let you hurt Mr. Lesure. Mm-hmm. In Irvington, the same way. Mm-hmm. You come in and don't know and be disrespectful, you learn. Well, first of all, I ain't gonna take it no way, but
that's right.
They'll learn quick. Mm-hmm. And word goes.
Yes.
So-and-so said this to Mr. Lesure. That nigga must be crazy, man. Mm-hmm. That's what they say. Mm-hmm. You know, that's our language, you know. We use the N-word in a minute. Right. That MF, you know, hey, I said, listen, man, don't bother with that boy, man. Leave him alone. It's all right. Mm-hmm. No, Mr. Lesure, we're going to take care of him. I said, no, I already took care of him. You understand, don't do, they're going to get you, man. Mm-hmm. But that's love, man. Mm-hmm. That's right. People don't, I never had, listen, around Dartown, where we lived, where you grew up. Mm-hmm. I've been to Rockman's house, man. Mm-hmm. Yes, sir. Mm-hmm. What's that boy name? Tracy. You remember Tracy, right?
Oh yeah, I know. That rings a bell. Rings a bell.
Yeah, Tracy lived. Y'all stayed one place, but Tracy stayed. He stayed right there on that first row, like on when you go to Wash and go down. What's that next street there? Wash Avenue, where it comes to an L, that parking lot.
Tracy lived, Burnside. I don't know if it's Burnside.
Yeah, Burnside. It is Burnside. Okay. Tracy lived in that first apartment there. Okay. Tracy was older than y'all.
Okay.
But he has a little brother. His little brother name was Courtney, I think. And once Tracy gonna jump on Farouk because Courtney and him had an altercation, and I had to go around there and step to him. And then when I went around there, his brother got upset with me and angry with me. You know, I said, you know, you have to keep your son in your house, in your yard, and then he won't have a problem with Tracy. Because Tracy was an older guy. He was like 14. Farouk was like 7 or 8. Okay. Younger than that. Maybe like Farouk, Baraka maybe 7 or 8. Farouk was like 5 years old, man. And Courtney gonna jump on Farouk. I knocked the door. I said, listen. I said, let me tell you something. I tried to speak to your son and he dissed me off. Mm-hmm. But I'm coming to you. And you let your husband know that I came. I said, if your son, Tracy, your 14-year-old, put his hand on my 6-year-old, I said, I'm gonna kick his butt just like he's a grown man.
That's right.
I said, I'm telling you this. I said, because when I tried to talk to him, he cursed me and went on in. I said, I'm telling you this. I'm warning you. I'm giving you fair warning. I'm knocking your door. I said, I ain't coming to you no more about it. Mm-hmm. I said, but if he ever, again, put his hand, now I said, he could be all right dealing with Baraka. Mm-hmm. I said, but Farouk, who's my 6-year-old, and him being like 14, I said, if he ever put his hand on my 6-year-old, roughing him up because something happened between him and his brother, they're out there playing, I said, I'm gonna hurt him. Well, no, you should keep. I said, no, I ain't gonna keep him there. I said, I pay too many taxes.
That's right.
To keep my kid on my property. You ain't paying no taxes. I pay taxes for this house I'm in.
Mm-hmm.
I said, if you put some choice words in his hand, I said, trust me, either your husband better come and bring it or bring the police. I said, because I'm telling you point blank, I'm going to beat him like he's a grown man.
That's right.
And I walked away. I ain't had no more trouble.
Mm-hmm.
You see? But we got to protect, man.
Yes, yes.
I mean, that's our role as a teacher, as a parent, as an adult. We have to protect and we have to train our kids how to respond and what to do. Then they won't go around cursing people out, feeling that they could just curse the teachers out. I mean, it's sad, man.
Mm.
We're in a sad state in our society.
You think that's more? You think what you're saying? You think it's more difficult now with all this technology and all this other stuff? I mean, I know it was a lot of pros to it, but just the cons with the technology and people just the socialization is missing. And to your point a little bit.
Well, I can agree with that, but I think the component that's missing is that the technology has become the parent instead of the parent being the parent.
Yes.
The parent allows the kids to get it from off the internet, off of Facebook. Everything is viewed from a technical point of view, rather than keeping your kids off of Facebook and you staying off it yourself as much as you can. And don't get me wrong, I love technology. I mean, I think it's great that even though I haven't seen you in years,
look at us now, right?
I can look in your face and have a chat and talk with you that make this possible. And it's making me feel good just being a part of it anyway, just reminiscing, because it brings back things and thoughts to me. Hopefully it'll benefit me as I go forward to realize what the objective is, because you can forget the objective and go astray. But by you doing this, it brings back the whole view of the picture of the way what it should be, you know, and rather than me just looking at it and saying that it's bad, you know. And you know, because I, you know, personally, I'll be honest with you, I'm so proud of y'all embracing the technology and using it. And that goes for you, Baraka, and all of you, because I think y'all do a wonderful job in handling yourselves and how you have benefited from it. Because I see Farouk benefit from it. And so, and I see him helping me, because I mean, I know people my age, and I'm telling you, I know people my age, they don't even know how to text. Right now, there's some people my age.
Yes.
If you say I'm gonna text you, they wouldn't know about the hookup that we got now. I don't know exactly all the odds and ends about it, but I feel like with you coaching me, I think that I would have been able to hook the link up still without my wife. I think I would have been able to do, because it was fairly simple.
Yes.
You know, so the technology is good. I to answer your question, I think there are benefits and there are things that hinder in parenting, and I think there are pros and cons about the whole thing. I won't say the better of it or the worst of it.
Right. No, I agree. I agree.
That's all.
I agree. As far as these last few years, again, what we've been seeing in the world, you know, police stuff, but we know that's been going on forever. But, you know, I know there's been some conversations I've seen in regards to, is this the worst? You know, I'll just say, because I even, you know, asked my father in regards to, are these times worse than when each of you were growing up? He says no. He says no. I mean, he's a Southern boy too. He's North Carolina, grew up everything, cotton fields, and he's like, no, this is not the worst at all. I don't know what your position is as far as these times appear to be rougher, or was it when you were growing up, or even as a young adult?
Well, personally, I think that conditions are worse.
Okay.
Okay. When you look at if you take the general family, a person who's trying to make it in America, I think their condition is worse.
Okay.
Okay. I don't think that the situation is worse. And let me see if I can clarify that. There's more money available and resources, people that's in poverty now than there were when I was coming up.
Okay.
Okay. Because for sure, I can count the people that were in my neighborhood that got assistance from the government on a constant basis, where every month they were waiting for the check. There were far less people. Matter of fact, I only know of a few, but yet and still there was less money then.
Right.
Okay. So I think that the condition is worse now because you have too many people depending on a stimulus check. They don't necessarily have to depend on them. They dependent on them because everybody want to have everything that they want without making a sacrifice to get it. And the stimulus check allow them to do it. They want to be, for instance, they want to collect a Social Security check without having worked a job for not even 5 years, but they want to get a Social Security check. You can't take out a Social Security what you don't put in. You know? And I don't think
you got to tap the, Mr. Lesure, excuse me real quick. You just got to tap the screen. Your camera came off. Remember, just tap in and hit the start button.
Yeah, well, what happened is there
we go.
What happened, somebody just called me.
Okay, that's what happens, yes.
Yeah. It's all right. I had a phone call, but it's okay. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
So I think that the conditions are worse, but take in my neighborhood, personally, I think that there are more people who are illiterate but can read than there were people who were illiterate when I came up and couldn't read. Now, that might sound a contradictory statement, but I can explain it. It's really not. If you can read, but yet still you don't understand anything, you can't read.
Yeah, you're not comprehending, right?
But if you can't read, but you could take key words and understand what people are saying, it means you can read without being able to call the words. You got people who can call the words today, but they really can't read. I mean, listen, if you go in the store and they tell you you're going to get 25% off if you buy this, but you don't know what 25% is, you don't know how much money you're going to spend, man. You got to know how much 25% is. Ibn, I'm going to tell you something. I know people, let's take like a man who's doing sheetrock, putting up sheetrock. You get, that's 4x8, and you buy it by the sheets.
Yes.
Okay. I know carpenters who could come in there that know what a ruler is, but really can't read a ruler, but they can tell you how much sheetrock you need. And I know people with the instrument with the ruler, and they order sheetrock and they order 4 or 5 more pieces than they supposed to have. And they got all the instruments to do it.
Right, right.
But I know people who can come in there and take their feet, man, and walk off. So, okay, you're gonna need this many pieces of sheetrock, and they're accurate. You don't have no waste.
Yes.
I know people with all the meters and everything they got.
Electric rulers, everything, right?
You come in there, you have more waste. So, man, why? I have a lot of construction being done now, man. And the guys coming, I said, man, damn, man, you wasted my damn material, man. You had me buy all this material, and I got right now, I got tons of materials around that either I got to carry back or find some use for it.
Yeah.
Because they don't know how to do it. And the old heads, man, they come in here and look, you know.
That's right.
This guy in New York, I used to buy over, you know, go dealing with the Jewish over on Delancey Street. He used to come in and look at me. He said, "You like those shoes?" I said, "Yeah." I said, "Man, they look too big." He said, "Man, them shoes ain't too big for you." He said, I said, "Yes, they are." He said, "Let me see." He put his hand around my neck. This true story. So you wear a 9. Sure enough, he said, "That's a 9. Try it on, it'll fit." I tried it on and it fit, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It can tell you what size your waist is. Let me see. You can wear that, man. That's a 36. Try it on. You can fit that. And he's right. His name was Yusuf. Yeah. He used to go all the time, man. Oh, man, you could take that. I'm going to give you that for a good price. I said, "Man, that thing too big. Yeah, ain't too big for you, man. Tell you what, just put your shoes on. Try it on. Look good on you." But you got to know, man. Yes. You see what I'm saying? Yes. So conditions, I feel, I think that's the difference, you know, because like nowadays, I don't know, man. We have and even it's a different value system too. That might be a major difference.
Okay.
It's a different value system, you know, that people. So for that reason, your father, I agree with your father too. I ain't disagreeing with him either, you know, but I don't know, man. It's this is we're in a sad.
It is, yes.
It's sad, man. Your generation escaped it.
Yes.
Y'all all of you are not out of the fire. Some of you still in the fire, but a lot of you, yourself, Farouk, I look at Jason, y'all escaped it, man. I think y'all just got out. Yeah. There's some people still, I'm sure some of your friends, some of you know, you say, "I wonder what happened to so-and-so. Why is so-and-so, so-and-so?" But most of your group, y'all did pretty good. I got the comment, at least the ones that I know that's in line with Farouk. Most of y'all, I'm gonna tell you, y'all doing pretty good. Most of the ones that I see, you know.
Yeah. Speaking of Farouk, I got a lot of proud moments in my life individually, but I'd also just extended friends and family. And one of them was they told me he got his own shop. You don't know how proud and happy I was to this day. I still excited about just knowing that. You know, how are you then when he's like, you know, "Dad, I got these keys. I got my own shop here."
Yeah, I'm also proud of him too. I'm happy for him, and I'm happy for him for more than one reason, because that was one of his goals that he had that he wanted to do, and I just pray that him having it benefits it,
Yes.
benefit him. And because sometimes success can come and it could be good, but it might not be beneficial.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like some people don't get bad until after they become the mayor. Yeah. They were all right before they were the mayor. They were all right before they were the senator. They were all right before they were the congressman. But once they become the congressman and the senator, the senator and the mayor, sometimes it shoots them in a whole nother level, and it makes them somebody that you don't know who it was. And I pray a lot that for him, the shop benefits him and makes him to a better person instead of makes him into a person who just had a shop. Mm-hmm. See, because you know, like I've always said to him, and I know it's difficult, especially when you're in the business as he's in, to understand that don't just go for the money, man. Don't just go for the money. You know that picture, and I think about Farouk all the time. This picture, the barbershop. Mm-hmm. You know the picture of the barbershop that comes on? Yes. That was a decent picture. Mm-hmm. Because in the end, the owner realized that that was his father's shop. Right. He realized that he would put more value in the money by selling it than he was by sticking to it. That shop was a source for the community.
It was a staple. Yeah.
It was a stabilizer. Mm-hmm. So he finally came to his senses. And he didn't realize how many people it was helping by him having that shop there, in spite of what went on there, in spite of the struggle for him having there. And I pray to Allah that Farouk's shop benefits him and his family, and also benefit the people that he served. Mm-hmm. And a part of that is making sure there's something called barakah. If you put barakah in your money, your blessings in your money, barakah in your money makes it go a long way, man. But when you have money, you don't have barakah in it. It's just money, man. It won't. You don't get no benefit from it. Yeah. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. So, and I pray that, because I used to always get on and they used to play so much derogatory stuff in the shop when you go in there. Little Kim and that, back in my day when I used to go in there, they had Little Kim. She'd be blasting in there, but it wasn't his shop. So I go in there, I would complain. I used to tell him, man, you got to turn that damn stuff off when I'm in here, man. I don't want to hear that, you know, about, you know, bees and this kind of thing. I said, when I'm in here, I don't care what you do when I'm leaving. I'm a customer. When I'm in here, I don't want to hear that. Mm-hmm. Put on something decent. Mm-hmm. Don't show the hoochie mamas with the stuff. Don't show them when I'm in here, because I don't want to see it, you know? Now, for your other clientele that want to see it, since you go along with it, I guess it's all right that you show it. But I'm telling you, when I'm in here, so when I come in, they should always cut the stuff down, because I would tell them. If I wouldn't tell them, they wouldn't do it. Right. But I complain and I tell them. So I once told Farouk, because he said, Daddy, I don't have no control over what, it ain't my shop. I told him before, I said, nah, it's your shop. That's right. That's right. Now you got control. And trust me, Allah's watching you. Mm-hmm. Don't get me wrong. If you got to play, you know, you want to watch the game, you know, you want to have entertainment for your customers, and you got to cater to them. But you cater to them in a way that's good for you. Don't cater to them because a person want to smoke. You don't have to let them smoke in your shop. Let them go outside and smoke. Mm-hmm. You know, you got to have some principles, man. Yes. And even when you don't want them, you got to have them. You're right about that. You know what I mean? Yes. So yes. I you know, Evan, you know me well enough to know at one time in my life, because you were over at the house, and you know I used to curse a lot. I mean a lot. Yes. Every word, every other, but I haven't used any while we were talking, and I have refrained and controlled myself to the point where I very seldom use a swear word now. You know, matter of fact, when I hear Farouk use it, it hurt my ears now. You know, but Allah is responsible for that. Mm-hmm. You know, yes. I've gotten to the point where I can express myself, where I don't have to use curse words no more in order to get my point across, and I'm happy about that. You know what I mean? I wasn't always there like that, but I've grown. I think I've grown a little bit, maybe not a lot, but I've grown a little bit.
Yeah, we all have. I mean, we all have. Definitely. Speaking of words, I did tell one story. I don't want to say lie because I'm talking to, one of my older elders here. So I told a little story earlier, so I didn't have any questions. I do have a couple on that I like to always just ask on the back end here. Some of them are random. You're like, why is he asking me this? So I do have a couple if you don't mind answering.
Okay, sure.
Some of them fun, have some fun with them. That's all. So I know you haven't been up to Jersey, in the last few years here, but went up there though. Did you prefer the Parkway or the Turnpike?
To be honest with you, Evan, I don't use either.
Okay.
Yeah, I usually come up in our area 78. I usually go 78, 81, 78, 81, 77.
Okay.
85 and 65 coming here.
Okay.
So if I was there, I think I probably used the Parkway more than I use New Jersey Turnpike.
Okay.
Because of the nature of where I'm going.
Yes.
It's not like I wouldn't use Interstate 95.
Mm-hmm. Now, speaking of highways and cars, what's your favorite car? Your favorite? You've had your selections here, some nice ones here. What's been your favorite car that you've had?
Well, I've always been partial to the Benz. I like the Benz. I'm not saying that I would buy one now, but if I'm in the market to buy a new car now, it probably wouldn't be a Benz because of the cost of number one, I don't need a car to travel no more.
Okay.
So I don't need to be able to go, and I don't have to think longevity. I don't have to have a car that I say I want to keep it for 20 years. All my cars I kept for 20 years. So I don't have a car to have to last me for 20 years no more.
Okay.
At one time I did. So I bought the Benz because it was dependable and I know it had longevity. They built them to last. I'm not saying that they build them to last now, but at one time, I still got that 83 Benz outside right now. Just cranked it up yesterday. I drove it down here.
Okay.
It's parked right now. That was my first Benz. Yeah, it's under the garage right now.
That's
I cranked
all
it up yesterday. Looking the same way. Blue,
I'm sure.
same interior. Yep, still running, man. Diesel. So longevity.
That's sweet.
I've never changed the engine in it. I've never done any of that thing in it. And that's an 83 Benz. The chrome is still on it. I had a few rust spots. Chris probably got a few rust spots. The windshield wipers work. The power work in terms of letting the windows up and down. It pretty much everything is intact with it right now. And that's an 83.
Wow.
So longevity.
Okay.
That's why I like the Benz.
Nah, good stuff here. Florida or New Jersey? Your preference?
That's it depends on what time of year you're talking about.
The weather-wise, or
yeah.
Yeah.
If you're talking about summer, I guess I'd rather be in New Jersey.
Okay.
Up until I like the fall. I like the beginning of the fall. Up until maybe like September, October. after October, I would like to start edging my way back south.
Okay.
Okay. Uh, after maybe the first week in November, second week in November, I want to be in Florida. I don't want to be in. I want to be in New Jersey or New York.
Okay.
Or Chicago.
I hear you. I hear you. I hear you.
So
I did. I not only knew this. Actually, it's crazy. Just obviously knowing you practically my whole life. I never knew, as far as back on the sports thing from earlier, as far as you being on that historic national championship team, that black college. I didn't know that until recently. One, I wanted to say that's just a testament to you and just how humble you are. It's not nothing that I just to sit there and talk about or gloat about here, but you know, how was that team? I mean, just that year, how was it?
well, for me, to be honest with you, I'll be honest with you. Even though I was a part of the team, I was just a little guy. I was just a little guy there. It's like,
okay,
I'm gonna tell you that. I'll explain to you how it was. It was like, can you get that, Zakia? It was like this. I was like normally, Boston, I'm gonna say, I don't know how many men deep they go. And you probably got some people that's associated with the team that they just got a suit.
okay,
Okay. They could not tell you the experience of what it feels like when Boston won, played that seventh game and won to get into the next round. But they were on the team.
Okay.
You understand? They actually didn't have, well, they had a contribution, but it wasn't like, you know, being there, experiencing the adrenaline when you stole the ball or when you, you know. And what I'm saying to you is the impact of being on the team didn't hit me until years later. And I'm gonna tell you, I was inducted into the Negro Hall of Fame as a black athlete. And Farouk and them flew down to Atlanta for me being a part of it. And here's the thing. Matter of fact, I delivered part of the speech. They selected me to say something when I was there. I didn't realize until Farouk and them sent me clips of a picture that I was in with the team. And when they asked us to come back to Winston-Salem, and I had my roommate ask me the year that we were invited back, he said, "You going?" I said, "Hell," I said, "No, man, I ain't going to that, man." So what do you mean? I said, "Man, I don't even like them guys, man. Why would I go down there and talk about going down there camaraderie with them?" Because you know they were older. Even though I knew Earl, I knew the whole 9 yards. I knew when Coach Gang retired and he had a book signing. I was at the book signing and all of that. I said I didn't feel like I was a part of that spirit.
Okay.
That, you know, because I was too young, I guess, to realize the history that was being made. And so your question was how did I feel? I feel I guess I would say I'm more aware now than the impact of what it was than I was at the time that it was happening.
Okay.
You see what I'm
Understand.
saying? And
Yeah.
I didn't see the value in what was happening then as I see the value of what's happening now that I'm 74 years old. I mean, when I go around right now, a friend of mine, man, every time I go, man, you know, he played with Earl, man, blah, 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 blah. And I knew him personally, you know, but I'm saying I didn't see the value of being a part of that then. Because my mind was somewhere else. And it's just in the latter years, maybe the last 3 years or something, that I realized the impact that had and the significance that it had, that being the first African-American school to win the NIT, it was phenomenal. And I didn't realize. And to look up and see a picture that they slated me with that group. And there's a visible picture of me there in the lineup with them.
Oh no, I've seen the picture.
Yeah, so I'm saying, I you know what? I'm gonna tell you, this is a true story. I came back here after that summer of 66, after that summer of 66, 67 when we won it. And I was playing over here at Pensacola High in a white school. This is a white, we wasn't even integrated during that particular time. And I was in there playing, me and a lot of the players from my high school, we went over there to play in the gym. They allowed us to play in the gym because the gym was open. And we went over there, and a little white boy came out the back of the dressing room, you know, and he had this magazine. He said, "Let me show you something." He said, "That's you right there." I didn't even know the picture was in the magazine. I said, yeah, that's me. And we went on playing.
Yes.
I never even thought no more about it.
Okay.
Until a long time ago, man.
Yeah.
And I remember that guy bringing that picture. It was just a Sports Illustrated, I think. One of the basketball magazines.
Okay.
It was in there.
Okay.
When we won, it was in there. And my picture was there with the team right there. And I didn't even realize he was excited. And it's there. We kept on playing, man.
Kept playing. Okay.
Yeah, we were more interested in the score, you know, them winning the game, you know.
Yeah.
So
interesting being, as far as Winston-Salem State here, another famous alum being in Northkid. Did you have a relationship or anything with on the late Cleo Hill? Did you?
Oh yeah, well, yeah. I never had any. Now, when I went to Winston-Salem, I saw films on him.
Okay.
You know, because he was a legend at Winston-Salem.
Yes. More
so than Earl. Yeah, Cleo was a legend. And Cleo was a legend because he came up in a time when segregation, you didn't have pro basketball players, African American. So when he played for Cincinnati, the Dolph Shade used to shoot the set shot. He got Cleo Hill and the coach fired because Cleo could not be contained. Yeah. And when they put him in, he's gonna shoot, he's gonna score, and he got so mad with it. Till Dolph Shade was a big time white basketball player. Used to shoot the set shot, but Cleo Hill wasn't from that era. He used to rock it. You couldn't contain him. You put him on the court, and the coach played him, and Dolph Shade got him and the coach fired. That's how bad Cleo Hill was. Yeah,
I've heard stories, and I just figure you guys are both from Winston-Salem and actually being in Newark in the school system. I know him coaching at Essex County and everything else. So
now, what? See, the thing is, him coaching at Essex County, you know, they weren't affiliated with the school system itself.
Right.
He was just at the local, you know, at that particular, and I'm sure some of the players who came up, I was teaching at the time, but I'm sure some of the players fed into that system if they were good enough
Mm-hmm.
in order to play if they didn't get any scholarship or something. But you know, it was Essex County was kind of looked down upon as a student going to school. You know that. It wasn't the, you know, it wasn't the, you don't feel like you would in going to college if you went to Essex County
Mm-hmm.
during my time when
Mm-hmm.
I was in high school. That was just like that's a stop that you go because you couldn't get into a regular college.
Mm-hmm.
That's the way Central viewed Essex. And
Okay.
I'm saying that. So if an athlete come out and he gets a scholarship and he's playing, he don't want to play at Essex, you know. He want to play at, you know, either Rutgers or, you know, one of the other schools or some
Mm-hmm.
African American school. So that wasn't, Cleo wasn't you know, I mean, I knew him though. But
Okay.
Farouk played, you know,
Yeah,
his son.
we all agree. Yeah, we all same age, all of us. Yes.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah. So
mm-hmm. Nah, definitely. His speaking of basketball or tennis?
without a doubt, tennis, man. I mean, what do you mean? Which do I like?
Yeah, what you prefer?
Oh, definitely tennis, man.
What was it about tennis that got you into tennis?
Well, first of all, it's an individual sport.
Mm-hmm.
You don't need a team.
Yes.
So nobody can stop you. You can progress to any level that you want.
Mm-hmm.
It depends on how much you want to put in it,
Mm-hmm.
you know? Whereas basketball, you're surrounded with 4 other players and they don't have one-on-one championships, 3-on-3s. Even if it was 3-on-3, you still got 3 other people that you got to deal with.
Mm-hmm.
But tennis, in my opinion, is a sport next to golf that you can play. I still play. I play right now.
Oh, yeah.
You know, matter of fact, I asked Farouk to bring me some sneakers. I got some brand new sneakers at home that that by Prince that I've only worn 2 times, and I wanted him to bring them.
Mm-hmm.
And he telling me he don't have no room. And so I told him, yeah. So I told him, don't worry about it. When he told me he had no room, I went on an order. They just came yesterday,
Okay.
two days ago. Brand new press sneakers. I haven't even had them on yet, you know. But it's the same sneaker that I got at home that I bought when I was there from Hatworks, and I haven't worn them. So, I mean, I want to play. I probably would have went out and played today, but I got to cut the grass. I think I'm gonna opt to cut the grass later on because my grass is up everywhere, and I need to do something. And I can't justify me being out on the court without doing some work here at the house. So.
Yeah. No, I understand. I have an 8-year-old daughter who's expressed interest in playing tennis. So, I was like, nah, I grew up with some people that play tennis here. So, I'm gonna sprinkle her in and kind of just see how she likes it and gets a feel for it, and take it from there. And to your point, is individualized. So it's something that she wants to do is it's going to be on her. She don't get no help from anybody else. It's all on her. So we'll see.
Well, let me say this. I don't say not play basketball, but I'm saying I'm speaking from hindsight now. Like I'm 74 years old. Maybe if you asked me the same question, if I was 18 or 19, because of all of my friends playing basketball, I probably would choose basketball. But however, after saying, well, Farouk dipped and dabbed in tennis.
Yep. Oh yeah, I remember
you know,
him and
Farouk
Baraka.
could play Baraka,
you know,
but they never had a love for the game, love enough to develop. Because see, tennis is an individual sport, but it's a difficult sport. You got to work at it. You just can't come up and take the racket and say you're gonna play, man. You got to put in some time, you know, and it's an individual thing because all your friends, they ain't gonna go with you to the court. You have to be able to go out there and go by yourself and seek the sources that you need to seek so you can get the kind of help you need so you can develop. And you gotta have a support system too. You gotta have your parents or somebody who's interested in you to help you get to these camps and other things that you need, because I've never been trained to play tennis like like go and get some help in a
Mhm.
class and stuff like that. I just in the park and learned to love to play. Then I started loving the game, and then do you play chess?
Yes, I've been. Yeah, yes, I was fortunate enough. Probably 7, 8 years old. Father taught me to play chess, and one of the
Okay,
highlights of my life was the day I beat him.
okay. See, so check it out. It's the same thing with chess, man.
Mhm.
Farouk, I tried to get them to play. I love chess. I played. That's all I played. But I
Yeah.
didn't learn to play until I was like 30-some years old. But
Mhm.
after I learned the game and the importance of it, you would
Yes.
never see me sit down and play checkers if there's a chessboard and somebody play. I
Mhm.
don't waste my time with checkers.
Mhm.
It's like if you know anything about cards, a card game, if a person know how to play bid whist, you don't want to play pitty pat, man.
Right.
You don't want to play pitty pat unless he's gambling. You
Mhm.
know, he don't even want to play spade. Somebody tell me, man, spade is a baby game, man. Why do I want to play? Let's play whist, either whist. And they tell me if you really know, and I know a little bit, I don't know a lot. If you know about pinochle, you don't want to play. You don't want to play bid whist. You want to play pinochle
Pinochle. Mhm.
because it's a different level of the game.
Yes. Yes. Nah, I see where you're
So
going.
all
Yes.
them card games, but it requires a different thinking. It requires a different skill level.
Mhm.
And you always opt to go to the basic, the bigger skill level. That's what determines whether you like it. Because see, if you don't understand the game, playing chess, you can't have no fun.
Mhm.
You can't have no fun. But you got to know what an opening is, what a closing is. You don't have to know, but you have to understand
Yes.
the function of the pawn, the function. Because I play with some people, I don't know how you play. They'll do anything to protect their king.
Mhm.
I mean, to protect their queen. I don't care nothing about a queen, man. I care about position.
Yes.
Position wins the game.
Mhm.
I might give up my queen just to get a certain position that I know you ain't gonna
You
recover
can't get
from.
out of it. Yeah.
So I don't care nothing about the queen. I put the queen out there for bait.
Mhm.
You think you rushing. And another thing, when you play with people who play, they never premature move their queen. When the queen comes out, that girl is out there. That girl is out to kick some butt.
That's right. That's right.
She ain't out there just to make you move a piece.
She ain't out there to look cute. Nah.
That's right.
That's
She's
right.
out there to take care of some business.
Mm-hmm.
And when she come out there, when you play with people who can play, and they bring that queen out, I mean, you just make sure that you are protected.
Mm.
You know what I mean?
Yes. Yes.
If a man got a 9mm, and he got a 9mm, you should have armored up. You want you a vest on, man.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Makes sense.
You want a vest on. A vest gives you added protection.
Mm-hmm.
So when you buy the 9, buy you a vest.
Most definitely. Most definitely.
If you know you in that arena,
Mm-hmm.
you in that arena, you out there on the street, you're a police officer or whatever you are, you gotta come, you try to come prepared, and you gotta have knowledge, man. You gotta have knowledge of what's happening. And that's like tennis, if tennis is a game for life, you don't look at tennis as just getting out there playing. You look at tennis like you will be able to, because see, after singles, you play doubles.
Mm-hmm.
You play a lot of doubles. I rarely play doubles now. I still play singles.
Okay.
Because I enjoy singles, and I'm in fairly decent shape. I don't move like I used to, but most guys who play me know if you come to play, it's going to be a problem if you ain't bringing your stuff.
That's right. I mean? That's right. So, regardless, that's right.
I'm not like Charles Barkley. I can still get in and off the horse.
Yes.
They showed him getting off the horse, man. And he ain't in no kind of shape at all.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yes.
Let us show. Now, I'm gonna tell you something. If I saw Michael Jordan like that, I would be, oh man. but you ain't gonna see Michael Jordan like
You
that.
just say go get on the horse if we have
Yeah.
worst case scenario.
But I don't personally, I don't think it would matter. I don't think you would see him in that shape.
That too. Oh no.
You see what I'm saying?
Yes.
And the reason being, he's too competitive.
Mm-hmm.
He's competitive in golf, and I don't even like Michael Jordan that tough.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm saying the man is competitive. They tell me anything. If you give it, he want to race you. He want to, you know, that's just his ego and what he feel. He want to win. That's him.
Yes.
That competitive, you know, and everybody is happy, you know. Everybody is happy. Some people are happy, like Anthony Davis. I like Anthony Davis, but I don't think he's competitive, man.
I can see that. Yeah, I can see that.
I don't think he's competitive. Because if he was, he would work harder at getting back there, getting back. He's happy with the money, man. He's making a ton of money. He don't care whether, you know, and he knows somebody gonna pick him up because he's that bad.
Yes.
But he's not like a LeBron's. LeBron's is competitive, man.
He is, yes.
Yeah, man. He want to play. He want to be the first. He want to be up there, and he don't care. He want to win. You know, it's evidence. But Anthony is not that way, man.
Yeah. Now, question as far as what's the best part about being you?
Allah has been merciful and let me know who he was.
Okay.
Who he is. And for that, I'm eternally grateful that Allah has given me the faculties to recognize that he is the creator of the universe, Lord of the worlds. And for that, I'm happy about being me.
Yes.
I would be sad if I didn't recognize that, in a bad shape. And as long as I can keep that in my mind, irregardless to where I go or what I do or what arena I'm in, I feel that there's some kind of way Allah will allow me to be all right. And that goes dealing with children, with wife, with mama, with daddy, with, you know, whatever condition. As long as Allah blesses me to know that he is the creator of the universe and I owe everything to him and his remembrance, and to keep my tongue wet with his remembrance on my tongue, I feel like I would be doing good. That would be doing good by me.
Definitely.
Yeah, that's where I feel.
How about if there was a book on your life, what would you call it?
Mercy.
Mercy. All right.
Mercy from Allah that he allowed me to live, man. If somebody think enough for me to do a book on me, because I know I'm insignificant. You know?
I wouldn't say that.
Well, insignificant to the point of I hope that I can make a difference.
Okay.
You know, and even I pray Allah has blessed me to live a life whereas it's said that I made a difference in society. And that's what I pray, that I just didn't come and go and I didn't affect something or somebody for the better, for the good of society.
Okay. Nah, definitely.
Because I mean that's what I think that's what we should do. Like a lot of people, we talk about Islam, we talk about it, but Allah wants us to serve humanity, man. Want us to be a servant of humanity and make a difference. I think that's how one Imam said that how did he put it? He said that if you wanna visualize, uh, how can you talk about how you love Allah when you don't love your brother? Because loving your brother shows how much you love Allah.
Yes.
When you don't do that, how can you say you're not good to your brother? You got to be good to your brother first. You know, that's a point of loving Allah. You know.
Yes.
You gotta love your brother, man. Do what's right by them. It's like me, any of us. Okay, we gotta become more in tune with how humanity can benefit from our existence than how we exist in terms of what humanity says. I think that we have to exist so humanity can benefit it, to raise it to another level, instead of us thinking that we raise things to another level, that humanity is raised to another level by us. We have to want to give of something that make that happen. I think that's important, man. You know,
Very, very much so. Very much so.
Inshallah.
Advice here. What advice at this time in your life would you give that 17, 18-year-old high school senior you? What advice would you give him?
I don't know. That's a you know, see, a lot of times advice is dependent on the condition. Depend on the condition the person is in or the circumstances that they're in. Because you can't give advice unless you know what conditions that a person is under. Because the same advice that you might give one might be bad for somebody else. So a blanket statement of saying I would tell him to do this or do that, I wouldn't like doing that. I would like to know what the circumstances are. You know, for instance, if it is, I guess maybe I would say, generally, seek knowledge that's going to benefit you. Get things that's going to help you to grow, not create your detriment.
Yes.
Learn things that's beneficial to you and beneficial to humanity. Instead of just doing things just to be doing it. Like my wife and I, we were talking about something the other day. I don't know if it was some deal with clothing or something. Like people just, I know what it was. I was telling about, I saw Farouk and some. There's some white sneakers. I don't know what they're called. I've seen some brothers around here wearing them. They're just white. You know what I'm talking about? They're white sneakers. They look like they might have been kind of thick sole. I saw Farouk in a pair. They're white all over. And I looked at them, and I've seen several people wearing them. And I looked, and this is the older guys too. I've seen them wearing them. I said, man, them damn sneakers ugly as hell. I mean, that's what I said to myself. Why would somebody wear some ugly sneakers like that? And I was telling my wife, I said, I don't care what kind they were, I wouldn't wear them. So I think that, and I said that to say, you have to know what's going to benefit you. Don't do it because everybody is wearing those. You know, it's like uh, the majority of the people that I see that's in the NBA now, all of them got tattoos all over them. I mean, everywhere, down the arm, up the leg, on the shoulder, you know. And I say, it's almost like you got to have a tattoo to play in the NBA now. I said, so I try to look for players without the tattoo. See if I could find. I said, I'm going to start looking, observing. I said I was going to do that. Because when you find players, and a lot of them don't have a lot of tattoos, I would say they're individuals. Because everybody's got them. And the more they got, the less individuals they are. Some of them got them everywhere. You know, LeBron, all of them got them. They got them, you know, all over. It's like you got to have one now. Some of them went crazy with them.
Yeah.
And I'm saying, why? I'm saying, you know, like, I don't have to be on social media. I don't have to be on that. I don't have to go on Facebook. I ain't saying anything is wrong with going on it, but I'm saying I don't have anything that I want to share with someone and share with a group that I've got to put it on social media. Nothing. You understand? Now, it's something different if I did something and someone want to put it on there and put it on. That's different than me saying that I got to tell everybody about my birthday party. I have social media because, you know, that's just not me, man. You see what I'm saying?
No, I understand. So I appreciate it. I have one more question here. What would your parents say about you?
I think they were happy with me. I haven't had any indication that they were displeased with, you know, the end product that they see. Everybody that I know, they always say that they say something good about me. So that's pretty much what I can say. I don't, I think that they feel that I turned out okay. You know, because I'm nothing out of the ordinary. I just go and come and do what I do. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So now, I don't think that they think that I'm something like a bad guy. I don't feel that they feel that way. I don't know how much they would say that, you know, well, he's a real good guy. I ain't saying that they would say that either, you know, but you know, I think they think I'm okay. You know what I mean?
Nah, I would say this for you, in regards to me, more than okay. You've like another surrogate parent of mine, just you know, just throughout my life and particularly childhood, you know, just again, just how you just carried yourself with your family, your kids, and your day to day, and you shared a little bit of it in regards to talking just now here, just you know, about your business, but make sure business got dealt respectfully and honorably as well too. And I think in regards to, you know, you mentioned the listening part in regards to, you know, to your children, as far as they might have listened, but you know, sometimes might not took everything you said. I think they have. I mean, and those as far as myself, you know, I have as well too. I mean, just, you know, though quiet and everything here, I've always one of those to just take everything in and just be very observant, especially when I was little here. And I just wanted to say thank you. Like I said, just being an extension of my parents, you know, as far as being in my life and just having somebody, another person I could just look up to, a black male in particularly, especially, you know, how they try to defame us and do everything possible here. You know, you've been one of the many black men that I've been able to look up to and just respect and admire. And I just want to say just thank you for taking this little bit of time out. You don't know how much this means to me, just having this opportunity, this little window of time with you here, and you willing to just share some things here. So I just want to say, I mean, I know Allah's the best of all planners here, and He planned for me to sit here and listen to you today. So I just wanted to say thank you, Mr. Shore. I really appreciate this.
Well, I want to say to you, thank you for having me. And I shared a moment. This is prior to. I hadn't met your father, but I went to the barbershop to see him.
Mm-hmm.
I went down there. No, the clothing store.
The clothing store. Yes. Okay.
Yeah, I went to the clothing store to see him, and I went and I had a conversation with him. And I want to say that you are definitely the image of your father, because when I remember standing there with him and talking to him, how humble he was and how he was in the position, because he was, like, I think it was the manager or whatever he was there.
Yeah, and it was a rough patch during that time. Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm saying he was really truly, like an inspiration, and you reflect him in terms of your character and what you do. In my conversation with him, and I appreciate you being friends with Farouk, because there's a saying, you are in Islam, you are who you hang out with, or who you pray with, or who you are with. That's who you are. Your companions. You are who your companions are. And there were a group of you. I must say that y'all came up at a good time for each other. And the majority of you, I don't know of anybody that was in y'all group that didn't do well. And when I say didn't do well, I mean, that don't mean that you got to have a ton of money, that you got to do this here. But the majority of y'all were always respectful. I never had to check anybody in terms of dealing with it. It always was a degree of fairness between y'all. I never seen y'all beef or, gonna fight each other and all that kind of stuff because of material stuff. And you didn't need monitoring. You didn't need anybody to just stay on you and monitor you about what you did. So, like I said, I appreciate you having me, and I thank you for thinking enough to even sit down and talking to me about it, because it's something to have young people do something positive. This is nothing negative. This is very positive, and I appreciate the opportunity of you giving me a chance to to thank you and for being my son's friend, and y'all still remain friends all the time. Because I remember when you first went off to school and you were off to school, oftentimes he was saying, if is coming home this weekend. I talked to him. So the communication never stopped, over, I don't know how many years, So that was a lasting friendship that Allah bless y'all with, has blessed y'all with. And y'all need to be commended for that both of you. So, and I mean, it's all good, man,
Yes,
and I want to say one more thing. If you ever take the notion of traveling, it's all right, man. Come to this area, come to Florida.
Yes.
Because we're here, If you're gonna come to Florida, come to this area, man. It's not that it's not it's not high tech as Miami. And maybe even I've been to Fort Walton. I was in Fort Lauderdale, and I've been in the Tampa area, in the Jacksonville area. It offers on a more realistic basic economically. You can get more for your money. The white sand is whiter here, and the fish tastes better. So if you get a chance, and the cost Well, the cost is don't wait too long because the cost, everybody's discovering the Emerald Coast and this Gulf area. So everybody is coming here now, but at one time we didn't have the tourism that we got now. I mean, it's booming now, man. But you can still get in here before it gets too late, because you know we're like about we're about a little more than an hour from New Orleans, about an hour and a half from New Orleans.
Oh, okay.
You know? Oh, we right on the coast, man. It's the Emerald Coast, man. You come here, you hit New Orleans, you can hit here. You know, I used to fly into New Orleans and drive here.
Just drive over. Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. We're also close to Destin, Florida, too. Destin is right here, too. Destin is about 40 minutes away. You know, that's a big resort area that they develop. Most of it, they do fishing and stuff like that there, but it's an area that's booming there, too, now. So, you know, so feel free, man, if you and your family want to go on vacation, you never been nowhere, been in this area, experienced coming here, even if Farouk is here, you know, like it's a nice haven to come to, you know, where you can enjoy yourself at a reasonable cost. All right.
Nah, I appreciate that. I definitely keep that in mind.
And thanks again.
Nah, thank you, Mr. The honor was all mine, Mr. Lesure. Thank you. Listen,
and do me a favor. Give both your mother and your father, give all of them and your sister, give all of them my regards, man. You know what I mean?
I definitely will. Definitely will. I'll be in touch.
Okay, thanks again.
Nah, thank you. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam.
Wow. Like I said, this is why I do this. Like I said, my original plan or thought of even having to do this, people that have just been in my life and influenced me and everything else here. Losing my voice because I'm a little choked up. But even with that being said, I'm just gonna step away into next go round. I put my hand over my heart. That means I feel you. Yeah.